Hello, Agans. It's me, Nanigans, here with part two, unexpectedly, of our draft typing tier list. Today I have my mods, Bebsy, Craver, and Sept. All of you say hi.
Howdy.
Bruh.
Howdy doody.
I was waiting for Crave to talk. Hiya.
Bruh.
All right. And where did we leave off?
We're on
We're
ground
talking about
type.
grass type.
We're on ground type now. So ground type, most spammable type in the game, or Earthquake is the most spammable move in the game.
Yes.
It has electric immunity, which is huge, and usually always has Stealth Rocks. There are tons of good ground types and tons of good low tier ground types, I think.
Sandaconda.
Have
I
you
think
ever
there
seen
are
ground
even
type
a
make
ton of good, like Eviolite ground types too.
name a ground type that became worse because of their ground type? You can't.
I can't.
If there was a type that was the all-around type, I think it would be ground.
I think Stunfisk got worse because of its ground type.
So we have
Who?
one out of like 800.
All of them.
So obviously there's not 800 ground types, but I guess you could argue Stunfisk might be worse, but then also it has some niche uses now that it's immune to its own type, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I see ground type as just generally one of the best. I'd even argue it to be like the best, but save that for a different discussion.
I think it's definitely
Just 'cause-
top 5 for sure.
Yeah, easy
I
top
don't.
five
I don't
for
think
me.
you deny ground top 5. The question
Yeah.
is, what is the order for a top 5? Do you think it's better than Fairy or Ghost? Because I personally, I
No.
can see it.
I
don't
put
know,
it in
but
between those two. At
you
least
think
for
better than
now.
Ghost?
I think that
But-
my take is that
No, better than Fairy, worse than Ghost.
I don't think that we can
I-
really discuss the order of the top 5 until we have all 5 of them up
Yeah,
there.
I think that's fair. So we'll just leave it like that. Ice type. I think Ice type is better than Bug, but I still don't think it's good.
I think Ice is definitely better than Bug, because Ice has real offensive capabilities, and Bug doesn't have anything.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've been playing a season with basically only ice types.
Yeah, you have 3 Ice types on your team. Tell us how you feel.
I think that entirely because of hail, Aurora Veil is an incredibly good option. Freeze Dry is an incredibly good option. It gives access to Slush Rush, which is absolutely ridiculous, especially with how good these Pokemon are if you can actually hit stuff with them. Things fold under ice types. The problem is that ice types die first. I think it's better than grass.
You think it's better than Grass?
It's better than grass.
I don't think that.
Entirely because of hail.
I definitely don't think that. I think I'd put the grass type. I'd draft a ton of balance every draft, so I definitely think of using a grass type before ever an ice type.
Well, yeah.
Ice types are very dependent on the user, much like Dragon. I think that the best ice types in draft in general are usually good because of their move pool
Secondary
or
typing.
secondary typing or abilities, right? So if you take away all of that, what does ice have other than good, like a good type chart, like offensively? Like the defensive capabilities of ice, I guess
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is that the cons outweigh the pros here
Yeah,
for ice type in general.
definitely.
And if you're finding yourself drafting like a 4 or 5 point ice type, like you're kind of lost. Like you shouldn't be doing that unless you have a specific reason to.
Yeah.
I think if you can get like a really high tier like Weavile,
Or
Ninetales, Mamoswine, yeah, that's a good one. Like
Okay,
these
those
are
are-
all really good
like, the
Pokemon
only
because of the ice
good
type.
Ice types I can think of, though.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think that ice belongs on a balance team. I don't think that ice belongs on a stall team. I think that ice is. Ooh,
Ooh?
this is a hot take. I think that ice is the. Hail is the best weather right now. I think because of Aurora Veil, and I think that in general, hail is one of the more successful hyper offense archetypes right now.
Right, that's totally true, and I agree with you.
And I think that alone makes it more relevant to grass types for me, especially considering that hail stuffs out grass types.
Yeah, but if you aren't drafting hail, you have zero reason to draft an ice type. Well, maybe not zero, right? Obviously, like
Yeah.
Man,
having
I'll
ice
leave
type
on
stab is good. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're never gonna like say, hey, fuck ice types for that reason. You know, they obviously have a use, but I don't know. It's just like it kind of falls under that clause of like having a specific reason to. So like if you're trying to build hail, yeah, obviously you want some ice types that are like gonna fit that. So Arctozolt and
I guess
and
the way that I'm
Ninetales.
looking at this is I'm basically going, the use case of ice type in this one situation outweighs the fact that you're not going to use it in pretty much any other ones, and that one situation alone makes it worth consideration. And I think that
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the opportunity cost of ice types, right? Because you're saying I want my ice type to be these couple things, but in exchange, I'm willing to give up all this defensive utility. And as a balance player, it just don't make sense to me.
well,
as
you know what
a
else
player-
is,
So
is
I
that
like-
already over.
a lot
I'd
of
like to
stuff
say
gets
something.
yeah yeah go ahead.
So I've drafted an ice type for 3 seasons in a row, and I didn't draft an ice type this time, but I picked up Analog. So I drafted Vanillic season 1, which I've severely underutilized. I should have ran Aurora Veil every single week. Just because Aurora Veil with like Ferrothorn Conkeldurr is kind of nutty.
Ugh.
Really though, like you can draft a Hail type Mon and just use Aurora Veil for the entire season and not do anything else with it. That's my personal opinion. You can run it for 100% accurate blizzards. You can run it with
Scarf or
Scarf Freeze Dry or something. Which to me, the ice types are good for those two things, which is Aurora Veil and
chucking out Blizzard.
Freeze Dry or 100% accurate blizzards. I think Slush Rush is a really good ability on really underwhelming Pokemon. Before this season, I've always, you can ask every mod, I've always said Sandslash, Alolan Sandslash should always be like 7 points. I actually have seen, after playing against that team structure finally.
Hi. Me.
Hi.
That's
Hello.
me.
It's nice to meet you. I really disagree with myself, my former self, and think that Hail should be made more budget friendly. Personally, I think it should be lower costs, because putting so many points into Hail is pretty detrimental for your overall team build.
Especially considering that it takes 3 slots bare minimum to make it worth it.
Exactly, and that means you're triple upping on a type that is weak to ground, is weak to rock, is weak to fighting, is weak to fire, and like to me,
Yeah.
Aurora Veil is really good, but Aurora Veil is good for Pokemon that aren't Ice type.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I think that Aurora Veil is really good for Pokemon who aren't Ice type, for one, and or Pokemon for Ice types who don't successfully one-shot, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking specifically here of, let's say somebody switches into Conkeldurr on a Bolt Beak.
Hi.
Yes, I didn't mean you specifically, but yes. There's no universe in which Bolt Beak KOs a Conkeldurr.
But now you live
And-
a Mach Punch.
But now I live a Mach Punch because of Aurora Veil, and I can actually clean up with whatever move I have in the back.
Generally, a lot of hyper offense teams in this generation just run Ninetales and Veil and nothing
Yeah.
else. They don't
See,
run.
like-
They don't run like Slush Rush or anything like that. They just go Volcarona and fucking click Quiver Dance. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's where I
swore.
think where Ice type can shine it, because Ninetales is literally like 1 speed point less fast
109.
than Sandslash, right? In Slush Rush Sandslash. So like,
No, Slush Sandslash is base 130. Plus you get double the EVs.
okay, well, Ninetales is still like 109 or something.
I think if every ice type was
Requirement.
like Ninetales, then I would put it above grass.
Yeah, I agree with that. But every ice type is not, and I don't know. I just think it's weak. I think it's like
I don't
we
think
said
it's in the same tier as bug.
with grass type. We said the scenarios have to be so niche for grass type to be good, right? I feel
Yeah.
like for ice type, it has to be even more niche.
Just put ice in C tier.
I'll agree with that. I do think it's better
Just
than
put
bug.
it. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right,
I just think
psychic
it's an
type.
interesting discussion.
That's normal.
Oh, normal. I can't read. I think normal is really good, actually.
What?
I think that normal types are really good. I don't think that the normal type is inherently really good.
Normal on bulkier Pokemon I really like, but
Yeah.
normal as a type itself is like so eh.
Okay, when I say normal types, I specifically think only of bulky normals and their insane movesets. Like
Yeah, you
Snorlax
kind of have to think about
and
like
Miltank.
everything, right?
and Blissey. Yeah, in retro, so I think like normals has really good high tiers and mid tiers, and then their low tiers.
And
they
also the
really fall
lowest of
off.
low tiers.
Yeah, normal type is like super underwhelming
I mean,
to me.
it's a very
like
good
at least as
defensive
an
type.
attacking type, I think it's underwhelming. Just
I
'cause,
also
like,
don't think I've ever drafted a normal type once. And every season I say this is the one where I'm gonna draft a normal type, and I still never do it.
I mean-
removal of return is like huge. It's
Yeah,
huge because
yeah,
the next
that's
best
tough.
stab you have is
Body
that you
slam.
don't body slam. That's 70 base power. That's a huge power difference.
85. But yeah.
Body Slam is 85.
Oh, is it 85? My bad. Yeah.
I
So
mean, and
eight-
the paralysis chance is nice, but again,
So-
yeah.
so it's very usable. They aren't like upset about it, but the next best thing is like double edge, and that
Recoil
takes
is
so
no
much
no.
recoil. Yeah, that's not really good. It's not good enough to justify bringing it just because like normal type doesn't hit anything super effectively. If you could KO stuff with it, yeah, that's cool. So like Staraptor, I guess, can use double edge because it gets a boost from that. But
I think
generally,
that
body slam is the best stab, and I think that's why I don't really like. Normal types are important to have defensively, but offensively, you don't really need them. It's
Yeah.
better as like a complementary.
Yeah, all
Type.
right.
feel like-
The more you say, the more I think. All right, bottom of D.
I think that the way that you can categorize normal is that they are. I'm going to make a sweeping generalization that is wrong, but I think that as a whole they're going to be the best support type.
I
And I
don't
don't-
disagree with that. They're really
I-
good at wish passing, really good at heal belling, and
Heal Bell, Wish Pass,
their movesets can generally be
after
really insane.
Ground and Rock.
Normal type move pools are insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're nutty.
A lot of them get Stealth Rocks, or at least a notable amount. I'm mostly just thinking about Miltank here. Gonna be real.
Yeah, it's-
Um,
as well, yeah.
So like even Miltank is like meh. Like I mean it's a good like kind of low mid tier pick, but it's not like holy crap I want Miltank on my team. You know like I don't know. I'm not like super excited about the product. Like usually if I take Miltank it's because it's like the best thing that's left.
Miltank
Not
has
like-
base 100 attack.
Yeah, no, I mean it's really nice. Like having base 100 attack, not having to invest in that and still do really like a lot of damage, especially with like
Alternatively, hear me out. Choice band and Miltank.
All right, this is not the milk tank discussion. This is a normal discussion.
We rank
generally
Milk
it's hit or miss, and I put hit or miss in B tier.
That's valid. I think
Yeah.
it goes above fire personally, but whatever.
Criver.
I think I'd put it down at the bottom where it is right now.
Yeah, all right.
I don't
Okay.
see.
I put it above Dragon.
Okay, I agree with that.
Because I mean, at least you can be immune to Shadow Ball with normal types.
All right,
Yeah.
poison's my favorite type.
I like it. Yeah, I like that spot for Poison.
I think poison is really good at bottom of A.
I feel like top of B, just because it's weak to ground.
I also
It's
like top of B. Poison is a really nice defensive
I
type.
think it's super underrated.
yeah,
think it's
it
really,
eats
really good.
Spikes. You can't be poisoned.
Fighting resist,
Fighting
can't be
resist.
poisoned.
it directly loses to two of the best types in the game.
Right,
But it directly beats fairy.
so
types.
does
Yeah,
I don't.
I mean, on the
I-
other hand, what fairy type doesn't get psychic? I know there's a
I mean,
couple,
there-
but like,
Right. So obviously you can prepare for poison types, but like
yeah, no,
generally,
I get it.
fairy types, it's not their best interest to stay in versus poison types. So even if you
Yeah.
do have the psychic, there's a good chance that the thing that's coming in on you is probably going to outspeed you and kill you in one hit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just reading the switch is more what I mean.
Or punish
Right.
you with
Yeah.
a
So
toxic
like,
or
yeah,
something.
obviously on switch in.
It's always scary to switch into a poison type on a fairy type because you just kind of go, oh god, what if they have earth power?
Yeah. I think
Having
poison
access
is
to 100%
really good.
accurate toxic.
Yeah,
lot
that's
of them- a lot of
that's
people get-
huge.
Different
Like,
thing entirely.
the niche things about poison type, like eating T-spikes and 100% accuracy poison or toxics, I think those two things alone
Yeah,
are
that's
so
pretty
good.
good. That's
Yeah.
really annoying. The add-on, and think about like, I know this isn't an individual like discussion about like certain picks, but think about like the good poison types like
Gengar.
Gengar, Galarian Slowking, all
Oxapac.
the Toxapex.
And like
Oh,
mid
I
tier,
like-
like my good friends Drapion and Salazzle,
And you also have like cool stuff in the lower tiers too, like
like
Tentacruel, which
Roserade. Yeah, Tentacruel.
Roserade, yeah, you know,
Okay.
these are all
Lower in
really
air
good.
quotes.
Yeah, okay, so they're still high, lower in layman's terms to like the super good stuff.
Yeah.
So like obviously they're still very good, and
Nihilego.
I think a big part of that is like, you know, the poison, like their set of resistances it has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think poison is great. And
buy that.
I think bottom of A is like the perfect place for it.
Yeah.
enough.
Psychic type.
Psychic just goes in B tier somewhere. I don't really care about this type.
Land beat.
Psychic, hit or miss. I know I keep saying that, but
I think psychic is definitely hit or miss.
I
think
think
it's the most
it has a
hit or miss.
tendency to be like really extreme. So it's either like so overwhelmingly powerful that like you can't really do anything about it. In the
Latias,
case of like,
Alakazam.
I was more thinking like Tapu Lele,
Yeah.
like psychic terrain stab psychic spam. Like yeah, that's like annoying, and that has almost zero switch ends.
Infinity
And I think like as an attacking type, it's really good when it's good, and then like it'll have times where it's just completely useless because they have fast ghost types, dark types, steel types.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like it's very similar to electric in that vein, where
Yeah.
if you're on the offense with psychic, you're gonna rip through things, but if they have the good type, fucked.
It's also
Except
much
in-
less splashable than electric, though. Just to
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
probably
I think it's
I'd put
worse
it-
electric type almost.
I would actually put it like in between normal and fire. That's where I would put psychic.
I can agree with that.
If-
I
and
almost
if
feel
anything,
like
maybe
we're kind of
swap those
building a
two.
wall between, like fire as a gatekeeper to the rest.
Yeah.
Rock type. So here is some hot
Yeah.
takes on rock type.
C tier.
I think rock type is the worst in the game.
I
I know it's not, but I think it's really bad.
think rock is still like super valuable as an attacking type.
Oh, you god. It's weak to steel ground water.
it's weak to a lot of types, but I feel like I'd have a rock type any day over a random bug type. Like,
Okay, I don't know. If the random
Well-
bug type gets sticky webs, maybe.
Well,
Every rock
the
type
other
is
hand-
good because it gets stealth rocks, in my opinion. And stealth
Yeah.
rocks is so good that it's immediately makes it like C tier. But like most ground types and a few steel types all get stealth rocks too, which
most steel types, I feel.
I think there's just not a lot of reason to run rock. Like
Is rock really worse than ice when it gets like stealth rock and stuff?
Yes.
Most of them get stealth rock.
yeah,
And then you also got to
alright.
consider like if you're on a sand team, you're getting +1 to your SPDF when you're in
Yeah,
sand.
but sand teams suck.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. Sand teams have made
I mean, they're not like
top
they're
8
not
in
the
both of our
top.
current
This isn't
divisions.
Gen 5 anymore. You know, this isn't fucking
I
like
mean,
Tyranitar Jirachi anymore. Like, obviously, it's
the-
gotten worse, but
yeah.
it's still very, very good.
The-
I think the
my
other ones
entire
have just
thing with
caught up.
My entire thing with it is, whenever I say hail abuser, you can instantly go, or I can at least instantly go, bop, bop, bop. Right.
What does bop 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 mean?
I just know Pokemon off the top of my head that abuse Hail.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of Sandstorm Abuser, I go
Excadrill.
Excadrill.
and,
Right,
and
so-
that's it.
So in draft, yeah, I guess if you don't have Excadrill, it's like Sand is objectively probably the worst one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of this discussion where rock types are getting a boost in Sandstorm, like I think that alone kind of just it's still a bad type, but I wouldn't put it as like the worst type in the game because of it.
I still think that Ice is better because the special defense increase takes a turn, but you get Aurora Veil. So you also get the physical increase.
But I'm saying that like between rock and ice, rock is like better ice.
Yeah.
No.
I think I agree with that. Yeah.
I
mean-
agree with it too, personally.
Yeah.
I think that ice is like way better as like an attacking type.
Yeah, I
rock.
agree with that.
I'm thinking like the big picture for all rock types and all ice types. I think the
I guess
rock types generally outclass the ice types.
I guess
Because
that my
for-
problem is that you look at what's the problem for rock types generally? Bulky waters, ground types just being better, steels that are just kind of better, and then fighting types because I don't know fighting types I guess. Oh, and grass.
And, like,
Grass,
alright, so
yeah. I mean,
rock and ice kind of just beat and lose to the same things.
Well, that's not true because ice beats water and ground types pretty handedly.
But only if it has freeze dry. With water
Yeah?
types.
Well, I mean, it still beats the ground types. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they do beat
she's
them.
right there.
No,
but
actually,
rock
yeah,
beats-
September's
rock
making
beats
a really
fire.
convincing argument for me.
Okay,
Um,
that's I'm fine with it. I just don't. I wouldn't put it in D tier under bug. Think-
Yeah, I'll agree. I do think it's C. I think I was overshooting how much I personally don't like rock type.
That's cool. No, I'm fine with
Valid.
that placement.
It's fair.
So steel type.
Steel type goes
S
in S.
tier.
Best type in the game.
S stands for steel tier.
S stands for Ferrothorn.
100% of the time, if I go on like like any sort of forum or anything like that, like asking for team building advice, someone will roast one of these teams for being like, "Wow, this team doesn't have a steel type." It's just kind of generally like, it's just universally known that like you really need like a steel type on your team. It's
Yeah,
probably
Thank
the
you,
most
Manigans.
important thing.
Yeah, steel is so broken. Having so many resistances for weaknesses that can be countered easily by different slots in the team, especially with other broken Pokemon like Water type.
11 resistances.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little
11
stupid.
resist-
Does it really have 11 resistances?
11
still?
resistances, 1 immunity, and it's good against fairy. And
I don't know why
generally,
it
it's a
types
steel
backwards,
type
but-
is really good as an attacking type too. When you think about the stuff it hits rock types, it hits fairy types, it hits fairy, poison. It's like
It doesn't hit
all
poison.
these types but it hits all these types neutrally too.
Yeah,
Poison?
which is,
No, poison resists.
No, it
right?
resists fairy. Yeah, sorry, I think poison does resist that, and I think fighting resists steel too,
Um,
and
does.
obviously
it's still
water.
hitting really good neutral hits though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's still very like good. It's honestly a totally different discussion if it's the like over encompassing like best type, or if it's just more like you need a steel type, but
I
maybe
think
not as
steel
much
type
as a
is
ghost
like a type that you can double up on for like any team and be okay.
type. It feels so bad when like you're like 3 or 4 picks into your draft and you don't have a steel type, and
Yeah,
the
and
best
all the
one on
good
the
steel types
board
are gone.
is like. It's like Pharaoh Seed is the best steel type on the board at that point.
Yeah.
I think it's
Whereas
really important to
if you have,
prioritize
like,
this.
As if you have like a really good steel type, if you have Ferrothorn, there's like, oh yeah, why not pick up Aggron? Have a second steel type.
well, because Aggron's slow and ultimately pretty free.
Yeah,
It's just an example. No, give me that. Something happens.
I think that water is arguably the best type in
Are
the
we going
game.
to water now? All right.
Yeah.
So, easy top 2.
I
Water
think
is
water
good.
is top 2 for sure. I
Yeah.
as somebody who has drafted a bulky water every season, I can't
There's a
imagine
reason.
not using a water type ever. It's just so good.
Okay.
It gets ice type moves. It doesn't matter which water type.
Scald is
I-
the best type or the best move in the game.
It's up there. It's certainly up there.
They
Uh,
literally like changed the way the game was like coding things just so they could add so many unnecessary features to Scald.
Yeah, it's broken.
and by that you
They
mean
literally had to make it so moves could have 2 effects because the way that the Gen 4 engine, I don't want to get too into this, but the Gen 4 engine couldn't handle 2 things at a time. It can only have 1 secondary effect. They literally had to change it to make sure that Scald could burn and melt thaw yourself when you're frozen.
Yeah, which has come in clutch way more times than
Yeah.
it should for my matches.
And think about how literally everything gets Scald. Literally everything.
Every
Raikou
water type gets
Scald.
Not every dark type gets knockoff. Not
Yeah.
every fairy type gets Moonblast. Every water type that's good has Scald.
Yeah.
Even like Siniseer gets Scald.
So I
Yo,
think
Imbor.
or keep it real.
Imbor gets Scald.
Specs Imbor is a real set.
also think
Flamethrower,
about
Scald, Focus Mist.
its resistances.
Yeah,
You
it's
resist ice. Obviously, freeze dry exists.
resist ground.
Fire.
rock.
You don't resist ground. You,
You
don't
don't
resist
resist
rock.
rock?
You don't. No, you don't resist those.
On the other hand, water type also has one of the few turn abilities, attacking
Flip
turn
turn.
move.
Yeah. Flip
Yeah,
turn
flip
is
turn.
so insane. That move's busted.
Kind of. The distribution isn't that big though.
It's not.
No,
it's
a lot
not
of
good
things get flip
distribution.
turn.
But things that
It's not
get
about it.
Scald, Flip Turn, and Wish, Vaporeon are really good.
Yeah, the blessed mons are with
Blessed.
they have the move pools.
Yeah.
Right, but
If you get to have flip turn, you're gonna have a nice day. Shout out to Barrascuda, fucking crazy pivot.
Yeah, dude, seriously, that thing is nuts. I like
Hell,
some Marshall tearing up Ocean Division.
I'd
even
like
Basculin.
your health.
Yeah, even Basculin is a good, like, there's so many water types in the game that
Melodic.
it literally floods every single tier. Like, floods. Water. Huh. So, like, you can always pick up a good water. You can always pick up a low tier water. You know you'll always have a water type. Which, like, if you're not drafting even an okay water, I just don't see how you plan to win, in my opinion. Like, you just need a water type. It's that important to me.
Especially with how versatile water is. Because it's a really, really good attacking type too.
Yeah.
What resists water off the top of your head?
Water
Electric,
dragon.
grass.
It's water dragon grass resists water,
Electric
right?
doesn't resist?
It
Yeah,
does not.
electric doesn't resist.
but yeah.
So it's great.
I don't think you should get 2 defensive water types or
No,
2
no.
offensive
I
water
think
types.
you should get one defensive water and then like one offensive water.
If
and I
you
think-
can.
I think that
you
works
don't need
really
you don't need 2
You don't
waters.
need to, but you can.
But if you want 2 waters, feel free. I'm not gonna call you out on it.
like, I
Right,
almost
just-
feel like water should be up here with steel, personally.
Water is stupid good. Plus, we haven't even talked about
Yeah.
rain.
Oh yeah, we haven't even mentioned rain because water just has so many other things going for it.
Rain
That's,
is
that's kind of like telling.
Yeah, so I think it's
and-
safe to say. I don't know. I think we can put water up here with steel type personally.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think water
What
beats.
does that say? Does that say Ludes?
It
No, that-
types
that's
backwards
steel
for
backwards.
whatever reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, and then rain 50% boosts to water type moves. That's just
And also weakens fire.
Swift swim.
So 100%
Somehow
accurate thunder
they've gone
and
8
hurricane?
generations without nerfing that.
Yeah, no.
What do you mean? It's totally balanced. Pharaoh and Rain goes crazy.
Yeah,
All right.
50% reduction to fire.
So okay.
Unreal.
Any final revisions we want to make? I think steel water in that order is good. I don't know how I feel about how S3 is ordered, and we still should talk.
I think
over
I think he swapped fairy ground.
swap fairy ground.
Yeah,
I think
Just
all 3 of
because-
these are kind of tied.
yeah.
I think
It almost
electric
feels
can
like
go
another
in A
triangle.
tier.
I think
think that
electric can go
fairies-
in A tier too.
Woo!
I think electric A. I think honestly, I would put fire above fighting.
I'd put fire above fighting too. I'd even put fire. I don't know. I don't know
No.
about that.
Fire just has so many resistances. It's so wild.
It's got
Yeah.
some like weird resistances that weren't good until this generation.
Yeah. It's like it's finally able to
Steel.
shine because of heavy duty.
Yeah, and you know, I guess we can't like tie it too hard to that single item because there's a good chance that
You're
you know
flying
maybe it
type.
doesn't exist next gen, or
Yeah,
maybe
maybe
there's a
you-
flying type.
Yeah, or you drafted like 3 bugs and a flying type.
But fire type is also like super valuable as an attacking type too.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, into
I
steel
think fire
types is
nutty.
nice.
Um,
Only being resisted by rock and water.
how do
Yeah.
we feel about fighting? I feel like fighting is okay where it is.
I feel like
yeah, I
fighting
think-
is perfect.
Yeah, I think
Just
because
fighting
any-
is good there.
If you think about any good fighting type, just the amount of coverage that fighting types get is just insane.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So I think we're all good on this video.
Yeah.
Let's
yeah.
go.
I think this is
I'm
a really
in
solid
agreement.
list personally.
And anyone who has any differing opinions is objectively wrong.
Yeah, because we're just some 4 random moderators in a random draft server that will never see anything.
And if you say we're wrong, we will ban you.
Yeah, you're not
Mhm.
allowed in our 38-person server.
Whoa.
All
It's
right.
too exclusive.
GG's. I don't know. Do you all want to
GG.
plug anything?
Nah, I'm good.
Go follow Nanigans on Twitter at Nanigans. They drew my profile picture.
At Nanigans Art.
Well,
Ahem.
yes, you have 2
Ahem.
accounts.
No, I only have one. What are you talking about?
That's just one account.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for the plug, though. GG's. Bye. Y'all have to do it too. Bye.
Bye.
Christmas.